a dire Chiefs and Cyclones fan, and this former Iowa State linebacker tandem had zero help. My name is Jay Caldwell. Welcome back to Cyclone Kingdom. The top 5 lists come to a close this week. We're rolling out the Chiefs ones, and we're finishing up the Cyclones ones as well. Top 5 Chiefs linebackers already in your YouTube feed, so go check that out. Make sure you like and subscribe for all Chiefs and Cyclones content. Now we're on to the top 5 Iowa State linebackers. There's a lot of great names on this list. A lot of guys you could put on it. It gets tougher and tougher and tougher when you get into position groups like this. It was tough with defensive ends. It's going to be tough with cornerbacks and safeties. With linebackers, there's a certain direction you got to go in. You got to stick to your guns, and that's what we're doing. And that's where I go with number 5. When you talk about the 5th greatest linebacker in Iowa State Cyclones history, it's part of a tandem. And the other part of the tandem is also on this list. But number 5 on this list is a guy who single-handedly in Iowa City beat the Iowa Hawkeyes by himself, Jake Knott. Jake Knott is an all-world college football linebacker. I mean, you think about his career and what he meant to Iowa State in a time period, in an era where there was nothing else going for them. Like, nothing else. It was terrible to be an Iowa State Cyclones fan unless you were watching Jake Knott. Jake Knott was an all-world talent. And his counterpart, who we're about to talk about, was also an all-world talent. Outside of those guys, all love to the Austin Arnauds and the Sam Richardsons and those guys, but there wasn't a lot of great of Iowa State football. There just wasn't, which made watching the defense so amazing. It was a joy to watch Jake Knott play. It was a joy to watch him pick off Iowa to beat the Hawkeyes in Iowa City. In Iowa City. In Kinnick Stadium. In that trashy environment with all the fans. Jake Knott said, "I'll take you home," in a 9-6 victory over Iowa. It was an unbelievable time to be a Cyclone fan just for that week. Regardless of what happened the rest of the year, you beat Iowa, and a linebacker took you to glory there. So Jake Knott deserves to be on this list. An all Big 12 type of guy. Never got the all-American recognition that he deserved, but one of the greatest linebackers in Iowa State history. Number 4 is his counterpart. The guy that was the Batman to his Robin, the Superman to his... Superman doesn't have a sidekick, I guess. But you get the analogies. The Kobe and the Shaq, the LeBron and the D-Wade, A.J. Klein. A.J. Klein was the better half of the Klein and Knott days. What he did in an Iowa State uniform, being all Big 12, being first team, should have been an All-American. I mean, we talked about it on Cyclone Central. Just go check out the exclusive Iowa State podcast that we do over there. But similar to what Troy Davis went through as a running back, where he didn't get the Heisman recognition he deserved. A.J. Klein never got the All-American recognition that he deserved. He was just one of the best linebackers in the country year in and year out, and he proved it by going to the NFL and being a trustworthy guy year in and year out, to the point where he's on a beach as a retired NFL player, and the Buffalo Bills give him a call and say, "Hey, we need a linebacker." And he says, "I'll be there." That's a quality linebacker. that's a tough linebacker. That's a guy that you can rely on your defense. And so the Jake Knott, AJ Klein days, there wasn't a lot of sweet moments during those Cyclone football days. They were 2 of the greatest, and they made Cyclone football watchable, borderline, some of those weeks because of the talent that they had. So AJ Klein, Jake Knott, one of the greatest tandems maybe in Iowa State history. If you're thinking about from a position standpoint, we're 2 shout out Cyclone Fanatic and their greatest Iowa State football players ever, and the series that they did there. Talking about, like, when your greatest players are both at one position, it rarely happens, and it's otherworldly. And that's what AJ Klein and Jake Knott did. So shout out to both of them. They're top 5 linebackers in Iowa State history. Number 3 on the list is a Matt Campbell guy. One of my favorite players. There's a lot of favorites in the Matt Campbell era, but number 3 is Mike Rose. I mean, what Mike Rose did in a Cyclone uniform, being an All-American, going into the 2021 season and being one of the best linebackers in the country. I know that 2021 season didn't go the way that we wanted it to. I know it was a tough year going 7-6 with all of that NFL and top college football talent. But Mike Rose was still Mike Rose. He was still a guy you could trust. He was still a guy that could cover. I mean, think about how tough it is to be a cover linebacker, where you're also a middle linebacker, you're also blitzing, you're also doing this, you're also doing that. He did everything to the point where his body was betraying him and going against him towards the end of his career, and he still played through all of it. Getting that interception at the end of the Fiesta Bowl where the whole sideline basically erupts and rushes him and gives him a big hug and everything, and Matt Campbell, the love that he had for him. It's super cool to see Mike Rose's career trajectory. Hasn't really got the NFL chance that he, I think, deserves. Similar to Hakeem Butler, I hope that he gets his chance sooner rather than later. He's made some time in the UFL and all those different things. But one of the best linebackers of that era. If you think about the Big 12, if you think about college football as a whole, when Iowa State was that top 5 to top 10 team going into the college football playoff, almost made the college football playoff. If it was a 12-team playoff, I mean, we're talking about a potential college football playoff winning Iowa State team. In terms of winning that first round game. And so Mike Rose is a key part of that. Him and Purdy, we're just kind of the yin and yang of the core of those Iowa State teams. And so he deserves to be on this list at number 3. To go to number 2, we're going to go back to the shared screen because these are some older guys I never got a chance to watch, but they deserve some run in this video. We're not going to do him yet, but number 2 on the list is Matt Blair. I just kind of showed my cards a little bit with number 1. We'll get to him. But Matt Blair, just look at these stats. I don't know why the college football reference doesn't have more Iowa State stats for defense and college football stats in general. It's kind of annoying. But Matt Blair was an All-American in 1973, a year after suffering a season-ending knee injury. Think about what Patrick Mahomes has just gone through, right? I'm a Cyclones fan, but I'm also a Chiefs fan. He tore his ACL. We expect him to be better now that he's coming off of that than he was before the ACL in terms of his talent and his ability and the way that he's just able to handle business. Matt Blair, a year after tearing his similar injury, was an All-American. 77 tackles, recovered 3 fumbles, 1971 Sun Bowl victory, right? Topping the team with 121 tackles in 1971. This guy was the real deal. In an era of football where we talk about the NFL, what the era of football was then, the era of college football was you could only run the ball. And if you could run the ball well, you could run it really well. If you couldn't, you definitely could not. Matt Blair made sure that nobody, and I mean nobody, had any run on him. He was an awesome linebacker in the 70s, in an era of Cyclone football, as we've mentioned ad nauseum, that wasn't very good. Matt Blair reminded the world. It reminded the world of who he was, of who Cyclone football was as a hard-nosed defense, even when they didn't have great teams overall. Second round NFL draft pick, played in 6 Pro Bowls. That's most among Cyclones, man. Brock Purdy and Breece Hall, I believe, are going to get there at some point. But Matt Blair, currently leader in the clubhouse in terms of most Pro Bowls in Iowa State Cyclones history. He deserves to be number 2 on this list. And set an NFL record for career blocked kicks, man. That's insane. This guy just did thing after thing after thing to be mentioned in the record books forever. So Matt Blair, we appreciate you. Class of 1999 Hall of Fame in Iowa State. So in Iowa State history. So shout out to him for being an Iowa State Hall of Famer as well. But he is not, and nobody is what Chris Washington was to the Iowa State Cyclones. Just listen to this for a second, man. 457 tackles in 4 years. Do the math. That's over 100 tackles per year. That's insane. The guy was a machine at tackling. Native of Washington. Standout basketball player. This guy could do everything, man. Emerged in the scene in his sophomore year. He was 20 years old. Beat Iowa. That's a huge thing. Record 11 tackles, 8 solos, a sack. Finished with 168 tackles in 1981. 168 tackles, man. That's ridiculous. 4.6 speed. A junior in 1982 joined forces with some other great dudes that no one remembers because Chris Washington was that good. They allowed The Cyclones allowed in 1982 just under 300 yards in total defense, which ranked 12th nationally. Chris Washington brought the boom, and he made Iowa State a respectable defense in the entire country. And he was drafted in the USFL and in the 6th round of the NFL draft. Back then, you could be drafted by both. Signed with the Buccaneers, immediately found a spot outside linebacker, started 7 games, and he started at every game for the next 3 seasons for the Bucs, and recorded 12.5 sacks during that span. I mean, this guy in Iowa State history, in NFL history, deserves to be recognized. He's an Iowa State Hall of Famer. In 2009, was inducted into the Hall of Fame. Chris Washington. I mean, my goodness. My goodness. I appreciate what he did in the Cyclone uniform. I'm so bummed I never got to watch him play. But he deserves the respect as the greatest linebacker in Iowa State Cyclones history. Let me know in the comments. Who's too high? Who's too low on this list? Who did I forget about? I mean, there's a lot of guys. Willie Harvey. You could talk about Jeremiah George. You could talk about Marcus Spears. I mean, a lot of different guys that could potentially be on this list. But those are the 5 that I have. Let me know in the comments what you think. As always, make sure you like and subscribe for all Chiefs and Cyclones content as we get ready to get rocking and rolling for the 2026-27 football season. And as always, roll close. And how about those Chiefs?